Everything you have been told about the dawn of the Iron Age is a sanitized fiction. It wasn't a gentle sunrise of innovation, a peaceful sharing of new ideas. It was an explosion. It began with the catastrophic collapse of an empire and the desperate flight of the men who held the most dangerous secret in the world, the ability to turn rock into a metal harder and more plentiful than bronze. This is the story of a profession so secret, its disappearance changed the world forever. The story of the Hittite Iron Forgers. 3,200 years ago, the world belonged to bronze. Great empires, the Egyptians, the Mycenaeans, the Babylonians, waged war and built civilizations with it. But in the rugged highlands of Anatolia, within the cyclopean stone walls of their capital, Hattusa, the Hittite kings guarded a secret advantage. They had tamed a new metal, a strange, difficult, and powerful material. We call it iron. At first, it was a curiosity, a celestial gift found in meteorites, rarer than gold and fashioned into ceremonial daggers for kings. But the Hittites achieved the impossible. They learned to coax it from the very earth. How did they make that leap from cosmic rarity to industrial production, a leap that eluded every other great power for centuries? The answer lies with a unique and shadowy profession known in their own tongue as the Men of Iron. These were not common blacksmiths hammering out horseshoes. They were the most vital and most controlled artisans in the entire empire. Their forges were state secrets, likely located in remote, heavily guarded complexes. The knowledge they possessed was considered a weapon of mass destruction, and the state treated it as such. Working with iron was a brutal, counterintuitive art. Bronze could be melted and cast into molds. It was cooperative. Iron was stubborn. It couldn't be melted with Bronze Age technology. Its melting point was far too high. Instead, the forges had to build special furnaces, bloomery forges that reached searing temperatures, hot enough to make the iron ore give up its oxygen, but not to liquefy the metal itself. The result was a spongy, porous mass of iron and slag called a bloom. This was where the true work, the true secret began. Days of back-breaking labor followed, heating and hammering the bloom, not to shape it, but to beat the impurities out, folding the metal over on itself again and again. The rhythmic thunder of their hammers was the heartbeat of the Hittite war machine. Yet here's a twist you might not expect. This early Hittite iron wasn't actually better than high-quality bronze. It was often brittle, inconsistent, and crude. So why was it the ultimate weapon? The secret wasn't just in the quality of the metal, it was in its quantity. The components for bronze, copper, and especially tin were rare and had to be imported over vast distances. An entire empire's military might was dependent on fragile supply lines. Iron ore, however, was everywhere. It was in the very hills the Hittites called home. While their enemies equipped only their elite warriors with bronze, the Hittites could arm entire armies of common soldiers with cheap, effective iron swords, spears, and helmets. They won not through magic metal, but through the world's first logistical mastery of mass-produced iron. An entire empire cannot keep such an advantage by accident. How did they prevent this revolutionary technology from leaking out for over 200 years? The forgers themselves were the key. A life in this profession was a gilded cage. They were given status, wealth, and provisions by the great king himself. They were revered for their near-magical abilities, but they were also prisoners. Their movements were restricted. Their families were likely kept as de facto hostages within the capital to ensure loyalty. The knowledge was not written down, but passed from master to apprentice under a solemn, deadly oath. To share the secrets of the bloomery forge with an outsider was the highest form of treason, punishable by a death so certain it likely needed no announcement. We have clay tablets, letters from foreign kings begging the Hittite ruler for a shipment of good iron, only to be politely but firmly refused. The king would send a single iron dagger as a gift, a tantalizing display of power, but the technology itself remained under lock and key. What a terrible pressure that must have been, to hold the fate of an empire in your calloused hands, knowing a single stray word could doom you and your entire bloodline. But no empire lasts forever. Around 1200 BCE, the world convulsed. The great civilizations of the late Bronze Age began to crumble in a mysterious cascading collapse. Famine, plague, and relentless invasions by maritime raiders known as the Sea Peoples brought mighty kingdoms to their knees. The Hittite Empire, for all its iron-wrought strength, was not immune to chaos. The intricate trade networks that fed its people disintegrated. Civil war erupted. Hattusa, the impregnable capital, was sacked and burned to the ground, never to be reoccupied. The state that had so jealously guarded the secret of iron ceased to exist. So what happened to the forgers, the living repositories of that world-changing knowledge, as flames consumed their city and their world fell apart? This is the final dramatic act of their lost profession. Did they die in the flames, their secrets turning to ash alongside them? No. The evidence suggests something far more impactful. They escaped. In the chaos of the collapse, these secret keepers, these prisoners of the state, slipped their chains. They fled the burning ruins of Anatolia, becoming refugees. But they were refugees unlike any other. They didn't carry gold or jewels. They carried something infinitely more valuable, the knowledge of iron. They scattered across the Near East and the Mediterranean, seeking new masters, new patrons. They became itinerant smiths, selling their skills to the highest bidder, to Philistine warlords, to Canaanite city-states, to anyone who could offer them safety and a new forge. The secret was out. The result was a technological wildfire. Within a few generations, iron weapons and tools appeared everywhere. The Philistines, armed with iron swords taught by Hittite refugees, terrorized the Israelites. The Assyrians would later use this technology to forge a new, even more brutal empire. The disappearance of the Hittite Iron Forger as a state-controlled profession directly caused the birth of the Iron Age for the rest of the world. Their lost job wasn't truly lost. It was atomized, dispersed, becoming the common knowledge that would reshape civilization. The very act that would have been treason a generation earlier, sharing the secret, was now their only means of survival. And it's a profound irony. The tool meant to preserve one empire, once unleashed, fueled the rise of all the others. The Hittite forger's profession died the moment Hattusa fell, but their legacy is in the steel skeleton of every skyscraper, in the engine of every car, in the simple nail that holds a home together. They were the gatekeepers of an entire age. Their story reminds us that sometimes a profession doesn't just fade away, it shatters, and its fragments become the seeds of a new world. Was their final act of survival the spreading of their secret, a betrayal of their oath, or was it the ultimate gift to humanity? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoy uncovering the stories of the jobs that time forgot, make sure you subscribe to Lost Professions and ring the bell for more journeys into our forgotten past.